Okay, guys, I'm so excited. I'm sorry. I did this video, I think last week or sometime, regarding a serial killer in California in the Stockton area. And this sick man started out killing people last year in April. He killed a homeless man in Oakland, and then when he came to Stockton, he shot another person who I think he mistakenly thought that it was a man in Hispanic, because when I looked up the victim, the one and only survivor, the woman who survived, she was allegedly a black woman, but when you look at her, she doesn't look black at all. She looks Hispanic, and she has shorter hair, so she looks like a man. So it appears he was targeting he was targeting Mexican men. But I am so excited to tell you guys, they've caught him. He is caught. I am so happy. People in the Stockton area was literally on pins and needles. People were terrified. They were scared to come outside. They were always on edge. A lot of them were scared to work. One woman who was working at a store was terrified to close her store at late nights because she was scared of this serial killer. And there was another man that was talking on the news that said that his girlfriend worked at night, and he was afraid for her life. So people in the Stockton area, you guys, were literally petrified of this serial killer. So no one was getting sleep at night. Even the cops were like, they knew they had to be on a mission to find this guy because he posed a huge danger. And the miracle is they found him. Woo, they found him. This is the guy. This man is the one who was going around killing Hispanic men, and they finally found this guy. So let's get into it. And this was the firearm that he had been using for the last year to shoot these different victims. But I am just so happy they found him, as people were terrified. So the suspect's name is Wesley Brownlee. He's 43 years old, and he actually lives in the Stockton area, which makes sense why he was making all these killings in Stockton area. I don't know why he started his killings in Oakland. Maybe he was there randomly. But oh my God, this man is so sick. Oh my God. And he really thought he was going to get away with it, you guys. So let's get into the story. Wesley Brownlee is the suspect accused of the serial killings of 6 men in the Northern California area. The victims were shot, brutally shot too. He shot them multiple times. And there was a woman who was also shot multiple times. Police arrested Brownlee on October 15th. That was today. Because the facts are basically he was on the hunt, you guys, to kill somebody earlier this morning at 2 o'clock in the morning this morning. And I don't know, I think the cops, when he had committed all those serial killings, they followed him with the surveillance tools that they had. And they followed him to a vehicle, and then they followed him all the way to where he had went. And after that, the officers had been stalking this man. They had been following his every move until finally, this morning at 2 a.m., he was on the hunt to find a victim to kill at 2 o'clock in the morning, and that's when the officers arrested him. Isn't that crazy, you guys? They were watching him. And on the news, they never mentioned that they had actually been stalking him. They kept that on the low. They tried to pretend as though they didn't know anything about him. And this whole time, the cops were on it, you guys. They were watching and hunting this man down. So just to give you the underlying facts, the victims were shot and a woman was also wounded. I'm gonna see if I could find, I'm trying to see if I could find one. Hold on, guys. Let me do something real quick. Hold on, guys. Hold on. All right. Sorry, guys. So they believe he was hunting for another victim. They arrested him on October 15th at 2 a.m. in the morning, and they believed he was hunting for another victim when they caught him. Some of the victims were homeless, according to KCRA TV, which reported that 5 of them were Hispanic men. It looks like he was actually targeting Hispanic men. I thought that he was just on a roll to just kill as many people as he could. But the victim that did make it, the woman, she looks like a Hispanic man. She does, from her hairstyle being very short. She's light skinned. She kind of has the same complexion, and all the physical features of a Hispanic woman. She says that she's black though, but we'll see if I can find her. I'm gonna see if I can find her somewhere in the videos to see if I can show you guys what she looks like. But the San Francisco Chronicle reported that the killer targeted victims who were sleeping alone in their cars or tents. I have a major announcement in the homicide series investigation. An arrest has been made. They were excited. They announced that the suspect was or is Wesley Brownlee. He's 43 years old. It's just such a good thing to know he's off the streets. People can sleep at night now. I know this. I'm telling you guys, those people in Stockton area were literally terrified. People were like, I mean, on the news saying they didn't know what to do. They weren't coming out of their houses. They were in fear. Even the cops were, because they couldn't figure out who this guy was. So it's a day of celebration, y'all. Okay, so here's some things we need to know. The police say that when they caught Brownlee, he was on a mission to kill and he was actually out hunting for someone. And that, remember, if you guys have watched this video that I did before, this here was the image of him on the video surveillance that we saw in the prior video. And let's see what else. People referred to the crimes as a homicide series. They wrote that the suspect was a cold-blooded killer. I'm interested in finding out what his criminal background is. We got to figure out who this guy is, like in general, for him to just go around killing people randomly. And they say, just because an arrest was made, it doesn't mean the investigation stops. We now have to have a successful prosecution for our victims and their families, which is true. We need to get this guy convicted, because if not, he'll go back out on the prowl and he'll be killing more people. So they got to get him convicted in order for, the community to be safe. Based on the tips, so this was, they were able to find this guy because people were calling in, so they were able to get tips. I don't know how they were able to figure out who this guy was in the dark like that, but some people figured out maybe the way he walked. They were able to figure out who he was. But those tips allowed the officers to be able to zero in on a possible suspect, and their surveillance team followed this person while he was driving, y'all. Surveillance team was literally following him. His every move, they were stalking this guy with their surveillance systems. I'm telling you, see, the thing is, there really can't be the advanced type of serial killers that we saw earlier back in the day, like in the early 1990s and stuff like that. Back in the day when you'd see all those serial killers getting away with stuff like Jeffrey Dahmer, Ted Bundy, all those people. Well, the reason why they were getting away with it so much was because of the lack of advanced technology. But now with all this advanced technology we have, I mean, yeah, he got away with 7 killings, but you're not going to get too far being a serial killer in these day and age because of the advanced technology, how they even have surveillance teams out watching the streets. They put up sophisticated surveillance tools around the cities and in different areas and communities that they're able to track people more than they were back in the day. So they were able to track while he was driving. They watched his patterns. They determined early this morning that he was on a mission to kill. So they had been watching him for several days, y'all. And he laid low for all those days while he was in the news. And then he thought earlier today at 2 o'clock in the morning, he thought was going to be a perfect time to do another killing. So he goes out on the hunt, not realizing that their surveillance team was watching him, y'all. This is crazy. This is crazy. So these officers were sitting in their little stations. They weren't following him like back in the day in a car. Back in the day you see in the movies where you'll see the cops like in a car, like those undercover cop cars, and they're following people around. No, they don't do that anymore. They use their surveillance. They be chilling in the office with their donuts and their coffee, just chilling, watching people, watching the suspects that they be, they feel may be suspected of a crime. So they were just chilling, saw him about to kill, and then they sent out their units to go get him. That's crazy, huh? So he was stopped by our team in the area of Village Green Drive and Winslow Avenue around 2 a.m. this morning. But that's a blessing that they caught him in time, because we would have been hearing about a 7th killing, but for them catching him. Police say Brownlee was wearing dark clothing and a mask when he was arrested, the same exact clothing he wore in all the 6 killings, and then the 7th victim who was shot but survived. So he matched the profile, wearing the exact clothes, everything, y'all, even the mask, because the one witness that survived said he had a mask on and that he had dark clothing, and this man fits the profile, y'all. And he was out late at night, prowling around. This is crazy, y'all. This is just crazy how advanced our technology is now. But here's this little sick guy. Look at him. He's sick. Looking like a James Brown wannabe. Okay. So arrest has been made in the serial killings. I am so happy, y'all. I don't know what to do with myself that he is off the streets. As officers made contact with Brownlee, he was wearing dark clothing and a mask around his neck. He was also armed with a firearm when he was taken into custody, y'all. He had that firearm on him. So that's perfect. He had the weapon that he used to kill all those other 6 victims and shoot the 7th victim. So they're going to be able to take that gun now, use ballistics tests to confirm that that gun was in connection with all those other shootings, and he's done. It's a done deal. This guy's done. Woo! I don't know what to say. I'm so happy. So he was armed with this firearm. They said they want you to. They said, I want all of you to know how seriously I take these type of investigations. This morning, when SWAT team members hit Wesley's apartment, so homicide detectives could serve a warrant, I was there with him. So they also went to his house, y'all. They searched his house. They found incriminating evidence in the house. It was crazy, y'all. Police said the media coverage was instrumental in the case. He said, now I would also like to thank each of you from the media. Police wrote, thank you for all the news coverage. Thank you for the social media stories. Thank you for keeping our victims' memories alive during your coverage. You and our community also played a part in their arrest. I'm just so happy people are going to be able to sleep tonight because I'm telling you, people were terrified. Brownlee, whatever his last name is, had addresses in Stockton throughout the years. So this sick man lived in Stockton. That's why he was going around killing all these different people in Stockton. I just don't know what was the connection of Oakland, because he started these killings in Oakland. So I don't know why he was in Oakland, but one day he happened to be in Oakland and committed his first murder, and then he just went back to his hometown and was committing all these murders. I don't know. Some of these killers are not really smart. They don't have much sophistication. That's why they always get caught, by the way. The victims were shot between April 2021 of last year. That's when this all started, all the way to September 2022. He's been doing this for over a year, y'all. A year and a half, it seems like. California police are appealing to the public for help in finding. Oh, they already found him. I don't know why they're giving that part. Okay, so they're going to talk about the victims. They said according to the Associated Press, the victims were Juan Vasquez Serrano, 39, who died in Oakland on April 10th, 2021. He was the very first victim. Juan was. He was a car mechanic. What kind of language is this? He was a car mechanic for hire. I don't know what that means, guys. Oh, sorry. It's he was a car mechanic for hire. Sorry, they broke up the word and made it look weird. He was a car mechanic for hire, according to the Chronicles, and he was homeless. That's so sad. And then the second victim was a Natasha Latour, 46 years old, who was shot in Stockton on April 16th. She was the first victim shot in Stockton, and she was homeless as well. She was reported that she had biked to an encampment when she was shot. And the thing is, this woman looks like a Hispanic male. Let me see if I can find a picture of her. Hold on, guys. My computer's slow, so please bear with me. But I'm going to see if I can find a picture of her, because I saw an interview by her, and she looks like a Hispanic male. She has short hair. She has kind of a tan color, kind of brown skinned complexion, like a Hispanic. And here she is right here, y'all. Tell me what you think, but she looks like a Hispanic male to me. So it does look like, sorry, hold on, it's gonna load. It's kind of slow. But when we look at her, she does look like a Hispanic male. Just you look at her real quick, let me know what you think. Come on, computer. Y'all doing too much. Come on now. Because she did an interview recently. I don't know how she was brave enough to do this interview, but she was brave. Miss Latour, homeless. And we're going to talk a little bit about her. We're going to get into some details. If this thing would just hurry up. Come on. We just saw her. Let's... Hold on, guys. It's going to come up. It's just annoyingly slow. Can I get a picture of her? That's her right there, though, if you could see her. I'm just trying to get the picture bigger. Can I get a picture of Natasha Latour? She doesn't look black to me. She says she's black. But she looks like a Hispanic. I thought this was gonna give me a picture, but here, we'll have to go. That's what I get. I'm always jumping to different stories. Different topics in the same story. But here, I think they're gonna play her interview right here. We'll just wait till they're done with this boring commercial. Come on, can we get past the commercial, please, and get to the video? Okay, here it is.
Clients share their opinion with me, and it's like, oh wow.
No, it's still advertisement.
You just want to make sure that what you're talking about is legit. That's what I think.
Can we just get to Latour, please? Oh, here she is.
You're telling me.
Okay, forget it, guys. Forget her. Forget watching the video because we're going to be here for everything all day. So look at her. This is the black woman that was shot by this man. First of all, she doesn't look black to me. I'm just saying it. She looks like a Hispanic male to me. To me. Okay? Don't get mad at me, y'all. I'm just saying if I look at her and if it's late at night and he's targeting black or Hispanic males, he's not gonna be able to tell if a woman and that she is black. So I think that, remember I talked in my first video that I didn't think that he was just targeting Hispanic males, and that if he shot this black woman, then apparently he's just, out to kill whoever's out late. Well, when I looked at her and I got to see the actual witness that survived, she's the only survivor. So she's going to have to testify against this man. That's crazy. She actually knows more about him than what she said to the officers on the media. And we're going to read this after we read about him being caught. We're going to go back and read about her. But just tell me, y'all, look at her. Do you think she looks like a black woman? She looks Hispanic and she looks like a male. But here's the guy. We're going to read this whole thing here, y'all, once we get back to it. But I want to go over these details about this serial killer being caught, and then we'll get back to her in a second. Come on, computer. Okay. So Natasha Latour, she was the only one that survived out of these 7 people that were shot. And she was shot in Stockton April 16th. And she was the very first person shot in Stockton when he began his rampage in Stockton, and that was April 16th after he killed the man in Oakland. And she was living in a homeless kind of encampment area. She rode her bike to the encampment area, got into a tent, and he must have followed her. He saw her first. I know he had to saw her because she fit the profile descriptors of what he looked to be hunting down, and he probably mistakenly thought that she was a man, a Hispanic man. I think that's why he didn't finish her off either, because he started shooting her multiple times. She gets out and she starts fighting for her life. She gets out of that tent, and starts going after him, charging him. Then he puts the gun down and he leaves. I think maybe he might have realized that, oh shoot, this is a woman. This is not what I'm trying to, she's not the profile I'm looking for. So he probably just stopped and left. But I don't know. You guys be the judge. So 5 men were killed in Stockton just this year alone. He killed 5 of them starting in July. He started his shootings up again. Paul, 35, died July 8th. He was homeless, very sad. According to the Chronicle, his mother described him as a sweet boy who grew into a man with a big heart. Oh, then how come she didn't take him in? He was homeless. She should have gave him some place to stay. I don't understand why there's these family members out here and their people are out in the street and you don't take them in. That's sad. Salvador de Booty, I can't say his name, guys, sorry. Salvador de Booty Jr., 43 years old. He died August 11th. He was a musician. He was a graphic designer. And according to the Chronicle, they reported that he was camping when shot. So he was camping too. I don't know if he was homeless or what do they mean he was camping. There's really no places in Stockton you can camp. So I'm assuming he was homeless as well. Jonathan Hernandez Rodriguez, 21, he died August 30th. He was shot and killed in a car. So he was sitting in a car late at night, sadly. Juan Cruz, 52, died September 21st. That was just last month. And Lawrence Lopez Sr., he was 54 years old. He died September 2nd. That's sad. All these victims will be able to face this sick man in court and be able to give them a piece of their mind, which is good. In October, police linked 2 of the cases above to series writing. While detectives continue to follow up on these series, detectives can confirm the following 2 additional cases are linked. Oh no. Oh, okay, this is the same one. I thought there were more cases, guys. I was getting scared. April 16, 2021, shooting a 46-year-old black woman at Park Street, Union Street in Stockton. And that's the woman that I just showed you. She doesn't look black to me. Doesn't look like a woman. If you're at night and you're not really focusing on the features of somebody, it's easy to mistake her as a Hispanic male. It's very easy if it's late at night like that, 2 or 3 in the morning. Yeah. The woman survived her injuries. Time of occurrence was 3:20 a.m. when that happened. So it makes sense for it makes sense for him to mistake her as a Hispanic male. Then a 40-year-old Hispanic man was killed in Oakland, California, and that was at 4:18 a.m. I don't know why they're going backwards. We already talked about those two. Those were the first shootings. This article is going backwards. Okay. In September, police wrote that based on our investigation and the reports we are receiving, we believe the following cases are related. And we already talked about all this stuff, guys. I keep repeating very redundant stuff. Okay, the fourth fact is police previously released a video in the case, which we watched before. If people didn't get to watch it before, I'm going to play it for you guys because you guys didn't get to watch it with us in the prior video. But this was the only video, you guys, they had of this guy. That's why it was so terrifying, because there were no identifying features. All we had was just a black shadow walking, basically. Oh, wait, sorry, guys. When I pressed play, the camera went. I'll have to do that again for you guys. Do that again. I had a inkling in my mind, though, that he was black. I don't know why. Not for any like profiling things. I just had a feeling. I don't know why I felt that way. Just maybe the way he walked. I don't know. Just something. I don't know why I felt that. But what was his thing against Hispanic males? I'm interested in figuring out what's in this man's head. Like, why was he targeting Hispanic males? Did something happen to him in a bad experience with Hispanic males and now he was seeking revenge? I don't know. That's the weird story about these people, that they just start targeting certain people. I'm wondering what was his issue with Hispanic males. In early October, Stockton police released a video of the suspect and then called a person of interest. Detectives also conducted further follow-up with our surviving victim from April 16th. And the sad part is, you guys, a surviving victim, because she was homeless, she came out and she gave a statement to an interviewer, and she said the officers treated her really bad when she was when they finally had. So when she got shot, right, she was screaming for help, and there were all these different tents next to her. She was screaming, asking everybody around her to help her. Nobody was helping her. Nobody listened to her. So she literally was bleeding out right in the camp. She kept screaming and screaming for help, and then she was falling asleep, and she said when she was starting to fall asleep, she saw a picture of her grandmother in her, like she saw her grandmother appear before her, because she was basically dying, right? And so her grandmother's spirit, and her grandmother is dead. So it was her grandmother's spirit who came to her while she was passed out and said, "You need to fight for your life, mija, you need to get up," or whatever. So she starts fighting again for her life. She gets up screaming, somebody help her. None of the homeless people were helping her. But a car drives by, and the people in the car, they stop, they see her, and they help her, and they get her, they call the police and everything. When the cops get there, she said the cops treated her like she was trash. They didn't want to touch her. She tried to get help. She tried to talk to them to help her with her wounds, and they were like, "Oh, we can't touch you." They like treated her like she had a virus or something. "We can't touch you." Like, and people were saying, "Oh, well, maybe because of COVID back in 2021, COVID was still a big issue. So maybe they didn't want to get COVID or whatever." Yeah, but I don't know. I'm thinking like they're thinking because she's homeless, she might have some virus or something. I don't know. The way they treated her was awful. And then she said when she tried to give the officers a statement, they didn't even listen to her. They didn't listen to her. They ignored her. She called the detective multiple times throughout the year, all the way till this year, and the officers were avoiding her, weren't getting her statement, right? And she was very frustrated in the interview because she said, had they just listened to me with the details I had, then this killer would have been off the street earlier, and these 5 new victims would not have been murdered, but they didn't listen to me. And so finally, when this murderer came back and started shooting up these additional victims, and they were able to use ballistics to connect all the guns together, and they realized that the gun that was used to shoot this one surviving victim was connected to this serial killer, that's when they finally came back to talk to her. finally listened to her and finally treated her like a human being, but still wasn't really treating her that well. So isn't that sick? These cops, they just start profiling people, treating them like they don't matter, ignoring them, disregarding them, and then they end up being the very reason why this killer remains on the street and continues to wreak havoc on society and killing more innocent people. These 5 people would have been alive before they just listened to this woman. It's so sad when I heard her statement, because she was very sad about being ignored and disregarded by, the officers. So the detectives, they followed up with the surviving victim from April. Yeah, they did. And they did after all the 5 victims were killed, by the way. And they have, do you know what? They had video surveillance of her, the shooting and everything, because they had a video showing her fighting off the guy and him backing away. So, because they were like, when they came and finally talked to her after the 5 new victims were killed, she said they were like, the cop was like, "Good job, man. I saw you fight that guy off of you. You're a true fighter," or whatever he said. But he said something like that, to that effect. And she was like, "Oh, really? There's video surveillance of it?" So they had video surveillance of her whole incident also. So she described the suspect as an unknown male, 5'10" to 6 feet, thin build, wearing a dark-colored hooded sweatshirt with a hood pulled up and dark-colored pants. The person was also wearing an all-black COVID-style mask. And you know what? That's exactly what he was wearing this morning at 2 o'clock in the morning when the cops were surveying him and watching his moves. They caught him with all the same gear on and with the very firearm he had been shooting these people with. This guy was just not smart, clearly. Clearly, he had a whole MO. The 5th fact is police previously announced a $125,000 award in the serial murders. Wesley Brown was arrested and is suspected to be the Stockton killer, and there he is. And we already discussed the victims. They keep giving us the same victims. We already know who they are. Police previously announced the award, and they released a map of the crimes and a surveillance image photo of him. They also did a press conference today. I'm so excited. And you guys, he does have a criminal history. So we shouldn't be surprised that this man has a criminal history. The thing is, I want to know what is on his criminal history. What is his prior record? I hope they release that to the public, because that really is going to help us get into the details of this guy's profile. According to KCRA, hey, you know what, guys? What if he was trying to seek revenge because of the Jeffrey Dahmer story? Because he started killing again. I don't know when the Jeffrey Dahmer story was released, but why is he profiling Hispanic males? Jeffrey Dahmer was more so targeting males, but it seemed like most of his victims were minorities. So I'm interested. I don't know. Maybe I'm going far left, guys, but I'm just kind of interested in figuring that out. Police have investigated whether the Stockton killings were tied to 2 in Chicago. What? They're thinking he might have killed some people in Chicago? Did he That's weird. Why would he? See, I told y'all in the last video, I don't know if he's connected to this, but that would be crazy if he flew all the way to Chicago. Maybe he was visiting family in Chicago, and then while he was there, he thought he would go ahead and kill people while he was out there. I don't know, but they're saying they might tie 2 other murders in Chicago due to similarities in the suspect's gait and surveillance photos. Oh my gosh, guys, he's probably going around traveling, killing people, but who knows? That is kind of far left field for him to just go to Chicago, but who knows? He could have had family out there and could have been visiting someone out there, and then while he was out there was like, I might as well do 2 killings out here and then head back home. I don't know. You never know. But they saw the same walking pattern of this other killer in Chicago, leading him to be called the Duck Walk Killer. Oh my God, I would not want that name. That is the worst name. They had names like the Night Stalker or the Night Killer, and they had like the Clown Killer, but you would not want to be called the Duck Walk Killer. That is the worst serial killer name ever. I'm sorry, we shouldn't be condoning serial killing, period, guys. But to be called a duck walk killer, I'm done. Wow, that's funny. The Duck Walk Killer. I'm done, y'all. I'm done. I've heard some names that they call these killers, but I never heard Duck Walk Killer. That one is That one's doing too much. But they later decide the Chicago killings were not connected. Okay, good. Because I really thought that was kind of left field. How could he go from well, he could. I mean, it's possible, but it's just kind of weird. It seems like his killings were centered around the Stockton area and Oakland area because Oakland is close to Stockton. It's like about an hour or so away from Stockton. So I wouldn't be surprised if he was in that area. But to go all the way to Chicago, I don't know. That's kind of left field. Left field, y'all. But that's crazy. I'm so happy, you guys, that he was caught. I don't know what to do. I'm so happy. We're going to do a video on this, but I want to just check out this Daily Mail article real quick because Daily Mail, y'all, they be getting into details that other news reports don't. So he was caught in a string of execution style murders. He was executing people. Like, he was not just shooting them once. He was shooting these people multiple times. It was like horrific how he was carrying out these killings. And we already know it started in 2021. He was taken into custody this morning at 2 o'clock in the morning. Basically out looking for the next kill. Wow. And they're saying it's unclear if the killer was motivated by race. But now that I see the female woman that survived, and she looks Hispanic and to be a male to me, just the way she kind of looks, it's making me think this guy was targeting Hispanic men. And I'm not wondering why. Why? What was the reason? What was his vendetta against Hispanic men? It's so weird, right? This is weird. This man was sick. So they believe the man was arrested. They think it's the same individual in their surveillance, but he looks, I don't know, I wonder how tall he is because the guy in the surveillance looked pretty tall. But people can rest a little bit easier tonight. Thank God people can get sleep tonight and people going to be out partying. They're going to probably be out, drinking and everything because they're happy he's in jail. Police in California say they caught the serial killer. Let's see if there's any other details in here, guys. I think we already went over this stuff. The dark clothing, blah, blah. I'm trying to see if they have any other details in here. Well, they did see him driving. We already know that they found it due to tips. Here's this sick man here. He looked like he don't even care. Oh my God, look at his eyes, y'all. He looks so satanic. I can literally see demons in that man's eyes. Oh my God, this man is evil. There's some dark people out here, y'all. Woo, help me, Jesus. So he basically shot at least 7 people in the past 18 months, and 1 survived. This is the gun, guys. This is the gun that was used to kill all these people. But we don't know if this was actually the gun that was used to kill all these people. They're going to have to do the ballistics on it and the test to see. But if it comes out that it matches, this is maybe the gun that he used. That's crazy, guys. How convenient. He was walking around with that same gun. And they say he was out hunting for his new victim. And this is him in that shadow, allegedly. They think it's him. He was pretty tall. He looks kind of short in the picture. I don't know. But you can't really tell his height in the picture of his headshot, basically. So that's their surveillance. Let's see if they have any other good, juicy stuff in here. Because usually... Oh, here's the woman. Okay, here she is. Here she is, guys. Doesn't she look like a Hispanic male to me? She kind of does, y'all. She does. Because she even said when she was shot, there was somebody who, when they came to help her, they were like, how are you, mija? They were speaking to her in Spanish because they even thought that she was Mexican. The people that came and rescued her, the people in the car, they thought she was Hispanic too. They started speaking to her in Spanish. They were like, oh, we're going to get you help, mija, and all this other stuff. So she looks like a Hispanic male. So I'm thinking he was targeting them. So the victims of the California serial killer who has terrorized the city for nearly 2 years, y'all. He was getting away with these killings for 2 years. April 2021, Miguel Vasquez Serrano was killed. He was homeless. And then this is the woman that survived, Natasha Latour. She was homeless at the time she was shot by the alleged serial killer in Stockton. She survived despite being shot close to 12 times. Dang, y'all, she was shot almost 12 times. And she made it through that. This woman is a beast. And after she made it through this, She prayed to God and she asked God if she made it through this that she would change her ways because she was addicted to drugs and alcohol. She was an alcoholic and really addicted to drugs. And she told God when she was laying on the ground bleeding out that she would give her full life to God and she would change her ways and live right. And since then, she's gotten off of drugs based on her statement in an interview, based on her interview. And she said that she's really devoted her life to God. And she, in her interview, she gave a lot of credit to God. So I really like that about her, that she really has, given credit where credit was due, that God saved her. To be shot almost 12 times and make it, y'all, that's God to me. That is God to me, that he saved her. So nearly a dozen times, y'all. April 2021, Latasha Latour, 46, was shot in Stockton, but survived. She was shot nearly a dozen times at 3:20 in the morning outside a tent she was living in at the time. And then here's the other victim here. This is Paul Ya, 35 years old, killed in July of this year. He doesn't even look Hispanic to me. He looks Caucasian, so I don't know. Paul Ya was killed in Stockton. He was one of only 2 non-Hispanic victims of the killer. Okay, so he was non-Hispanic. He is Caucasian, you guys. So not all of them were Hispanic. This was a Caucasian male that was killed. So maybe he was targeting men, non-black men, probably. Maybe he had a vendetta against non-black men. I don't know what it was. But this man, Paul Ya, is Caucasian. He's one of the 2. So he shot one black woman that to me looked Hispanic to me, one white man, and then the rest were Hispanic. Here is another victim here, guys. And his name is Salvador William DeBooty. He's 43 years old. He was killed August 11th, 2022. That is so sad, man. This poor man died, man. That's sad. So August 11th, Salvador Jr., 43, was killed in Stockton. He was a Stockton native and father who died at the scene after police attempted to resuscitate him. They tried to save him. Poor guy died. That is so sad. For no reason. No reason. He didn't even bother anybody, just minding his own business. August 30th, Jonathan Hernandez Rodriguez was killed in Stockton. He was found dead inside of a car on East Hammer Lane. It was unclear if he had been sleeping in the car at the time of his murder. Here's another photo. They don't know why they don't have a photo of this guy, but they do have a photo of the other victim here. Juan Cruz, 52 years old. He was killed in Stockton September 21st. He's one of the most recent victims. He was killed. He was the killer's final known victim. He was killed September 27th. He's the last one that was last killed. And then September 27th, Lorenzo Lopez, 54, was killed in Stockton. We talked about him just now. That's him. He was gunned down shortly before 2 a.m. in the morning in a residential area in the downtown Stockton. So it seemed like this guy stalked the downtown area. But you notice the time frame that these people were murdered at 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 in the morning. So this man was looking for vulnerable people who were out at these vulnerable hours when there's no one around, no witnesses that can, identify this man. It was sick. Let's see. It is unclear to law enforcement why the killer apparently took more than 400-day break. Well, we know why, because he was the girl survived. The one lady survived, and he thought he was going to be caught. So he laid low for a while to see if he was going to get caught. And when he realized he wasn't, then he went back on the prowl again. Okay, let's see if we can find any other juicy stuff in here. We already know that part. That's him. Here's the smiley face chief. This guy is kind of, he's kind of weird with the smile. How are you smiling when you're talking about 7 people got shot? I don't know. So here's the conference, the news conference that they did today. It was just a beautiful day. Everybody's happy in that area in Stockton because they finally got this sick man off the street. It would be interesting if what if this isn't the man and it's somebody else and then another killing happens. I'm just saying, I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully this is the man. I pray it is because I pray it is. I pray. Because this guy looks kind of tall. I wonder if the guy in the picture, maybe he is tall. Maybe he is. I don't know. I need to see him. They're going to have a hearing. His first arraignment will be Tuesday. So hopefully they'll have video cameras in there to see this guy's height and see if we can match it up with this guy in the surveillance, because I'm wondering how tall this suspect is that's in jail that they rest. I wonder how tall Wesley Brown is and if he fits this profile of this man here. That's what I'm kind of curious of. Hopefully during the arraignment, they'll have camera footage of this sick guy and we can be able to kind of match up the features to see if they really did catch the guy. I'm just saying, because that was scary. I don't even live over there and I was still scared for those people over there. I'm like, man. Anyway, so here we're going to go over the timeline where the serial killer shot dead 5 in the California city. They have like a little map here of where the killings happened. April Miguel Vasquez was killed in this area. And then, that might be April. That might be in the Oakland area over here. I'm thinking this is Oakland. Was he the first guy killed? Yeah. So this was the first guy killed. They don't have a photo of him. And then here he traveled from here all the way to this Stockton area where he not killed, sorry, she made it. Thank God she made it. But he shot Natasha Latour over here in this area, in the Stockton area. So it wasn't that far away from this Oakland. So I'm telling you, Oakland and Stockton are close by each other. I think it's like an hour to 2 hour drive. It's still not that bad of a drive. So he comes here in the skirts of Stockton. He shoots this woman in her camping area. April 16th of last year, she was shot. Thank God she made it, though. She fought for her life. She was like, not today, Satan. You're not going to take me out. Not today. Okay. And then he waits for like over a year. He chills out because he's laying low because she was in the news talking. They were like, oh, shoot, one of the victims made it. Let me lay low because I don't know if I'm going to get caught. That's why he laid low that long. And when everything went quiet and nobody was talking about him anymore and talking about the suspect, then he went on the prowl again in July, and he shot this man, Paul Alexander Yaw, in this area. He was the third victim, Caucasian male, in this particular area. So you could tell it's kind of random areas he's picking. It's not like he's in one little location. He's going around the city. And, like all around the city, throughout the city. So this is the third victim. He waits for a little while, like a week or so. Then he comes all the way over here in this area in Stockton. And he shoots Juan Cruz. So just notice that these areas are spread out. It's like the nights that he wants to go on a prowl to kill someone, he just chooses random places throughout the Stockton area. So it's like you can't even predict his next move because he's kind of all over the place. Then after that, he waits for a little bit. And then in August, he starts his killing up again in this area, kind of close to the area where he was in West Lane area near where the third victim was killed. And that's when he kills Salvador. And then August 30th, he comes over here. And I'm saying this is random places. He's just choosing all around. You see how spread out these killings are? They're so spread out in the map. He comes here. He kills Jonathan Hernandez Rodriguez, August 30th. Then he waits a couple of weeks, y'all. He waits like several weeks. And then September 27th, that's when he kills over here in this area. West Swan Road. I don't know any of these places. I haven't even been to Stockton. But it's just it just seems like from the map, it looks like they're all over the place. But anywho, he kills this. This is the last victim that's killed. Lorenzo Lopez, man in his 50s on September 27th. So he waited a couple weeks, then he kills, waited a couple weeks. And here he did the same thing, y'all. He killed this person September 27th, right? Then he waited a couple weeks, and now he was about to kill somebody today, October 15th. So he has a pattern of waiting a couple weeks, killing, waiting a couple weeks, killing. I didn't think this guy would be dumb enough. This dude's dumb, right? Because he already knew that the cops were on the prowl for him. They literally were searching day and night. Every beat, every cop in that town was looking for this suspect. So I thought, in my prior video, I told you, I thought maybe he was going to lay low for about a year or two. Chill out until the coast was clear. But this dude was dumb. He's got to be the most dumbest criminal ever. He only waited a couple weeks and had the balls to go out and try to do it again while the cops were on his trail already. Dumb, right? Just dumb. That's what I'm saying. I knew he was going to get caught eventually because he was not really smart. I thought he was going to be, wait a year or two, see, like he did the last time. No, he didn't. He waited only a couple weeks. And today he was going to kill someone today. Isn't that crazy as we're talking about it right now? He was going to kill somebody at 2:00 in the morning. And thank God those cops caught him in the act. Caught him in the act, y'all. This is a day to celebrate. I'm so happy. Okay, anywho, let's go and talk about the one survivor, the only known survivor. She did an interview with a Stockton news reporter channel, whatever this channel is. And she went into very details about the trauma that she went through, um, and how she was disregarded by the officers and they dismissed her. So let's just read this. Guys, I could play the video of her, but I'm not gonna lie. I don't know. It felt like it sounded like she was on meth or something, because when people are on meth, they speak really fast and they have like this kind of like, man, if you guys have known somebody on meth, you could tell the pattern of the way they speak. They're really fast, like this. That's kind of how she talked, like really fast, like that. It was like kind of annoying. Sorry, because it was like I was trying to keep up with her, but my heart was racing because I couldn't really keep up with all the stuff she was saying. It was like she was giving me anxiety. So I'm just gonna read this instead of playing the video because I can't go through hearing that interview again. I'm sorry, guys, but you'll understand. You'll thank me later. Only known survivor of Stockton serial killer says police dismissed her. Okay, they dismissed her. They ignored her until five others were murdered. That's a shame. They ignored her until five others were murdered. And if they would have just listened to Natasha, we wouldn't have been here. And you know what? One of the cops who dismissed her, oh, I forgot what she said in the interview. She was saying how they ignored her because they thought she was on drugs. And they were like, well, when you get sober, maybe you'll be able to remember everything. So they also were dismissing her because they thought she was just some druggie. So let's read this, guys, because we'll try to see if this article will give us some of the details of her interview, because I just can't sit through that interview, y'all. I can't do it. I might. We'll see. Natasha Latour was homeless, dealing with a decades-long drug addiction, when she found herself face to face with a silent stranger pointing a gun at her by the Stockton train tracks. So she had this drug addiction, and this drug addiction caused her to lose relationships with her friends and family based on her interview. And people kind of, they pretty much, she was an outcast because of all these drugs and all the problems she was causing in these different households. So because of that, she ended up being homeless because of this drug addiction. And that's what happens to a lot of people. It's either like drug addictions or mental health things that lead them to this sad, demise of being homeless. And so, she's in this camp area trying to get her rest when she hears the footsteps of this perpetrator. So Miss Latour, she's 46 years old at the time of April 16th, 2021, when she became the only known survivor of an alleged serial killer in the California port city. Hi, beautiful God's favor. Hi, sweetie. I'm so happy to see you, girl. 6 days beforehand, a 40-year-old man had been shot dead, y'all, in Oakland with the same gun. This guy was just going around using the same gun. Even after they announced that they knew it was the same gun, he still kept using that gun. This man didn't know what he was doing. Ballistics have also linked 5 more murders in Stockton, y'all, beginning in July of this year to the 2020 attacks. Now she's sober. Because of this trauma, she got her whole life together, y'all. She when she was dying on that pavement, she prayed to God and she told God that if he saved her, she was going to get her life together, and her whole life turned around for the better. She's now sober, she's employed, and y'all, she got married. She got married and she's happy. All of those great things happened for her, and she has housing now too, so she's not homeless anymore. So her whole life turned around. She made changes. She kept her promise to God, and I'm just so proud of her. Miss Latour described her attack in the detail to local outlet 209 Times. That's a news station or news report team in Stockton. She said she could hear a train coming around 2 or 3 in the morning. She said, but also heard another sound, turned around to see a figure coming towards her around a corner with a gun. Dang, she must have been scared. Wow, can you guys imagine? Imagine you see that. You probably would have been, your whole heart would have stopped if you saw that. So she heard a train and she sees this figure coming towards her. Let me see. I'm trying to get to her parts. Okay, she said there was no words exchanged, Miss Latour told 209 Times, adding that the attacker didn't say anything. He didn't come any closer. He just started shooting. That's crazy. She said she believes the attacker was a male, though she could not see the shooter's face. He had on dark-colored pants, not black, dark-colored pants. Oh, so she said it wasn't black, it was just dark-colored. She said, I don't know if they were jeans. He had an open hoodie that was either navy blue or black, and he had a COVID-style mask on that was worn like perfectly, and it went across the bridge of his nose. Interesting. I didn't see the hair part, and so the top part of the hood was fitted, she said, comparing his look to the Unabomber without the glasses. Okay, so that's what she was describing him with during her interview. She said it looked like the attacker had thrown clothes on to do something real quick. Oh, so he just kind of, it's like this was his job. This is sick. It's like instead of having a real job, he goes on, puts on his quote unquote work clothes. The work clothes are the murder clothes that he uses to kill these people. And then he goes out on a hunt to find the victim that he's going to take out. That's sick, right? Initially, Miss Latour said the shooter held the gun sideways and palm downward like a thug. And I was really hoping his aim was going to be off. Wow, poor girl. Then she said he crouched to closer to her height of 5'6". Oh my God, that must have been scared. So he kind of crouched down to her height to really get close in to kill this woman. She reckons the shooter was between 5'10" and 6 foot, like a movie star pose. I don't know what that means, like a movie star pose. With both hands training the gun on her. That's crazy. She was shot up to 10 times. That's what I'm telling you. This, God saved her. He heard her prayer when she prayed out because 10 times she should not be here. God saved her. She says she was not sure, but the hospital told her 7 bullets were removed from her body, she told 209 Times. 7 bullets, and this woman is still here, y'all. God, I'm telling you, God saved this woman, and I'm proud of her that she turned her life around for the good, and now she's a married, happy woman, got a job, not using drugs. I am just proud of her. So she spent 12 days in the hospital. 12 days. Dang. 12 days. And God saved her because, like I said, when she was screaming out for help, all those other people in their camps ignored her. It was like an angel when these people randomly drove around at 3 o'clock in the morning. Happened? And they happened to see her. That was God. It was like an angel came. Like God brought those people there to save her. That's amazing. So she's in the hospital for 12 days, during which she was withdrawing from drugs. So it helped her get off drugs too, in addition to recovering from her significant wounds. Praise God. So she was getting off drugs while she was there. So it was like she was able to wean them off while she was there. And she has been sober since May 1st, 2021. Praise God. This is like a good turnaround for this woman. And here she is there on the left. That's her. But if you look at her, she does look Hispanic and like a male. That's what I'm thinking. He really is targeting Hispanic males. He might have just mistakenly thought she was a Hispanic male when she's really a black woman. But that's what she says she's a black woman. So she don't look black to me, but I'm just saying, that's me. Okay, anyway. So Ms. Latour demonstrates how her attacker held the gun as she was shot up to 10 times. And she's kind of demonstrating exactly how he held the firearm when he was shooting her. The following month, Ms. Latour says she was told by police that ballistics had matched her assault to the murder of a 40-year-old Hispanic man on April 10th, just after 4 a.m. So they realized it was the same person. When it came to her own attack, she said, I always knew that there was nothing personal because I didn't do anything to anybody. I didn't have any altercations. I didn't roll like that and have any problems. That's crazy. Just randomly shooting people for no reason. Why did this just jump like that? Did y'all just see that? It just jumped out of nowhere. What happened? Okay, here it is. Okay. When it came to her own attack, it wasn't until this month, however. Guys, isn't that crazy? It wasn't until this month. That means it wasn't until October 2022 that she heard there might be a serial killer on the loose in Stockton and noticed similarities in the circumstances. So this woman didn't know that this guy never got arrested that whole year after she was killed. I mean, he's not killed. Why did I say killed? Sorry. That whole year after she was shot 10 times. She didn't even know that he was on the loose still. She didn't realize he was on the loose until she saw a news report about him being on the loose in Stockton. That's crazy. And she noticed the similarities. That must have been traumatizing for her. Imagine, she thinks she escaped her killer. I mean, the shooter. And she finds out she has to relive that trauma because she realizes, oh my God, the guy who shot me is still on the loose. That's crazy. I would have been terrified. She not only obtained a new copy of her police report to show to 209 Times, but also told the outlet that she believes there was a video from the night she was shot that she had not yet been shown. And that was the one I talked to you guys about earlier, that there actually was a video surveillance of her fighting off the perpetrator and him backing away and leaving, because when the cops came and talked to her, they were like giving her kudos, saying, oh, they didn't talk, they were mean to her and dismissive, like she didn't matter, right? They just ignored her, which is why 5 other victims ended up getting killed because of them disregarding this woman. But eventually, when they did talk to her, which was like over a year later after he killed those 5 people, they were like giving her kudos, saying, good job, that we saw you fight off the guy or whatever. So she was like, oh, there's a video surveillance. She wanted to see the video. She was like insisting on seeing it, and they wouldn't allow her to see the video. So the first public announcement of the possible serial killer came September 30th when Stockton Police Chief Stanley McFadden held a press conference. And it's like, why did they wait until September 30th? They waited until 5 men were killed before they announced it. Those 5 people's blood is on their hands. They should have made the announcement back in July when the 3rd victim was killed. Why did they wait, you guys, until September 30th after the 5th person was killed? So that's like the victims should sue the law enforcement for not making this public announcement sooner, because but for them not announcing this and warning and cautioning people to be careful, these other victims stayed out late not knowing that their life was in danger, because they were not aware that there was this serial killer on the prowl. That is crazy. These people would have been alive. They wouldn't have been out late. They would have been carefully watching their surroundings and not been out that late if they had known back in July. This is disgusting on the cops' end to not have made this announcement earlier. How are we just finding this out in September 30th after the 5th man is murdered? Make it make sense, y'all. Make it make sense. So again, they do this press conference September 30th after the 5th guy's killed, right? Regarding the murders beginning in July, which police believed were linked to ballistics and similar circumstances. The victims were ambushed. None were even robbed. That's what's sinister about this. The guy didn't want anything from them. He just wanted their life. That's sad. They were just shot brutally dead in dimly light areas under darkness. This man is evil. He is evil. He didn't even care. He didn't care what possessions they had. He just wanted to kill people for no reason. That's sick. And he was found on many surveillance footages. This same guy with the dark-clad figure was caught on cameras near the scenes of several of the shootings. The same figure. So that's why they were able to link him to all these killings also, not just with the firearm. So it was a total, guys, of 6 people that died because of this man, and 1 is alive. Let me just get the number right, because I keep saying 5, but total of 6 were actually killed by this guy. Let's see if there's anything else about her. Oh, she said, okay, here, she even says it, guys. So let's go back to Latour. Earlier this month, police said 2 April 2021 crimes also linked to these murders, including the assault by Natasha. Mr. Yaw, okay, so all but one of the murder victims was Hispanic, and Mr. Yaw was white. Miss Latour, she was black. However, she thinks she could have fit the profile of a Hispanic male. Like I was saying, she looks like a Hispanic male based on the pictures that we've seen. You guys be the judge, though. I really think she does. So even she admitted, she said she thinks she could have fit the profile of a Hispanic male when she was attacked. She said, I could easily be mistaken for a I could easily be mistaken for a Mexican man at nighttime, Natasha said, who is black with a light complexion. I have been before. So she says she has been mistaken as a black man before, even though she's really a black woman. Police released seconds-long footage of a dark-clad person of interest who was captured near the scenes of several shootings, which is, man, he was there at each one, so that they're able to use that evidence to convict this guy. Hopefully, let's hope they can convict him, because they don't actually have clear footage of him there. They only have a shadow. But they'll be able to link that gun, and he was caught in possession with the gun. So if that's the same exact gun used in all those shootings, and he didn't switch up his firearms in any way in this recent attempt this morning, then he's done. If he used the same exact gun, even after they announced that that gun was linked to all these other shootings, he's done if he did that. The individual has an uneven gait and unusually straight posture. Wow, interesting. And they call him the duck walk killer. I'm done. That is the funniest serial killer name I've ever heard. She said, when I saw the image of the person from the back, even though I'd never seen their face, I knew that that was the person that tried to kill me. Dang. She even knew him from the back, y'all. She knew. She didn't even see his face, but knew it was him. That's crazy. She told 209 Times that she was angry the public had not been informed earlier of the linked crimes. That's exactly how I feel. And she believes there could be more victims out there. I'm with her. I'm with Natasha on this. I'm angry that the cops waited until 7 people were shot in total before they made an announcement to the public. Unacceptable. I'm with Natasha. These victims would have been alive because I guarantee you they would not have been out late and they would have been watching their surroundings. That's messed up. I really feel those victims should sue law enforcement for failing to warn. They had a duty to care for the public. They didn't warn the public, she said of officials, adding, basically 5 people died because officials didn't listen to me. Bam. That's what she said. Additional 5 people died because we already know 2 people were shot last year. So additional 5 people got killed when they would not have, but for the officers not listening to her. But last minute when finally. And here she also said she felt of her homelessness and drug addiction. So she felt ignored by them because of who she was as a homeless person and the fact that she was on drugs. She said they basically treated me if it was a drug deal gone bad, as if I knew something that I wasn't sharing, she said. That's sad. So they were accusing her of maybe trying to do a drug transaction, and then they actually got shot. She got shot because of that. And because she was homeless and on drugs, her life didn't matter to them. And because her life didn't matter to them and they ignored her for over a year and a half, 5 more people died. That's just messed up. She said because of that, she said, it's possible others have fallen victim to the same attacker or attackers unbeknownst to investigators. If you were in a situation to where you've been homeless here in Stockton and you got hurt, you got shot, you know I'm saying, I think you should come forward, she said. There might be other people that got shot too. She said, no doubt there's somebody that's been, shot and either thought that because of their lifestyle, they deserved it or knew that the police weren't going to do anything about it. That's why people don't come forward to cops. That's why, they always ask people to come forward and talk and let us know if you're a victim of stuff. And people are hesitant because of how poorly they're treated and disregarded and ignored by law enforcement. And because of that, more victims end up dead until they finally listen. She said they could have heard about me. Or she said, or knew that the police weren't going to do anything. They could have heard about me. She said she came forward to hopefully prevent more deaths. Oh, wow. So she came out because she realized she needed to in order to speak out. And hopefully that could prevent more people from dying. She said, let's face it. There's a serial killer out there, she said. I'm not dead, so I had to pray on that. But I knew that it has to be told, she says. Incredibly, Miss Latour said she forgives her attacker and hopes the person or persons will turn themselves in and hopefully find the same solace in religion that she has. And she truly has given her whole life to God, and she gives all God the glory. In the interview, she talks about God throughout the interview, and I was so proud of her for just speaking that truth, that she knew God had saved her. On the night she was shot, she heard her late grandmother's voices urging her to survive, she said, and she found strength in Jesus. So when she was dying, like I said, she saw her grandmother's spirit. Now, her grandmother has passed away, so she had to have seen her grandmother come in the spirit to speak to her. Miss Latour even found a unique way of looking at her near-death experience. 18 months after being riddled with bullets while homeless, she still in the throes, and being homeless and still in the throes of addiction. Okay, so now she's been free from that, and she's really gotten her life clean. She said, they may, in a strange kind of way, they saved my life. Wow. She's saying being almost nearly killed is what saved her life, is what pushed her to turn her life around. She said, they were trying to destroy me, but they saved my life. Neither Miss Latour nor the Stockton Police Department immediately returned requests for comment from the Independent. So I'm just really happy, you guys, that this story has somewhat of a good ending, even though it's sad that 6 people are dead. One of these victims ended up turning this tragedy around for the good, and she got her life cleaned. She's, a lot of great things have happened for her. She's now no longer homeless. She has her own place. She has a beautiful husband. She's happily married. I'm just so happy for this woman. That I'm sad that this trauma happened to her, but she was able to give her life to God and turn her life around for the good. And so that's the one good thing that happened in this. And we're happy that this guy is caught and off the street, number 2. So we're going to take a look, you guys, at this video. If it shows, it may not show, so we may not take a look at the video. Not that we really have to. It's just good to hear from them because they might have some more information. But I don't see it coming up. What's going on? My computer is really acting weird. Okay, here it is. Sorry, guys, about that. I didn't think it was going to play. My internet has been acting really weird. And my computer. I need to get a new computer and upgrade. Are you going to play, or are you going to... Oh, gosh. Okay, I got to...
And we begin with that breaking news tonight coming out of Stockton. Police say they have made a series of connected killings. Several Stockton leaders announced the arrest in a press conference today. Police Chief Stanley McFadden says this man on your screen, officer, stopped 43-year-old Wesley Brownlee early this morning.
Woohoo!
Our surveillance team followed this person while he was driving. We watched his patterns and determined early this morning he was on a mission to kill. He was out hunting.
It's a massive update tonight. With more details on this arrest, we go to KCRA3's Michelle Bandeur, who is live in Stockton. Michelle, I know you were there in person when this news was announced today. What have we learned so far? Well, Brittany, police believe that they stopped this accused killer on his way to find his 8th victim. Police also say that it was community tips to Crime Stoppers and good old-fashioned police work that led them to the accused killer.
The suspect's reign of terror in our community has come to an end.
Woo! The Stockton Chief of Police and city leaders announced the arrest of this man, 43-year-old Wesley Brownlee, who lives in Stockton. They believe he is the one responsible for killing 5 people in Stockton, 1 in Oakland, and injuring another.
Surveillance team followed this person while he was driving. We watched his patterns and determined early this morning he was on a mission to kill. He was out hunting.
Police say officers followed Brownlee from his home around 2 this morning and stopped him in his car at the intersection of Winslow Way and Village Green Drive.
Wow.
Marked here with the yellow box. It was near an apartment complex they believe he was looking for victims.
Oh my
gosh. They
gosh.
also recovered this handgun in his car and are running tests
to see if it was used in all 7 shootings. The chief says they've been
The last
speaking
2
with the
days,
victims'
I have met
families
our victims.
throughout the investigation and gave
Wow.
them the news.
I can't go into our conversations, but our talks were very emotional. They want us to bring this person to justice.
And police say just because they made an arrest does not mean the investigation is over. They say they still have a lot of work to do, and they still want people in the community, like they have been all along, to give them any tips if they still have any information that could help them. Again, Crime Stoppers, a tip to Crime Stoppers, help detectives track down the suspect. Now, Wesley Brownlee is expected to be in court on Tuesday. That's when we'll find out all of the charges filed against him. Reporting live in Stockton, Michelle Bandur, KCRA 3 News.
Michelle, thank you. And we know there have been questions throughout this investigation about who was responsible for these killings. So at this point, are police looking for any other suspects?
No, police tell us right now that this is the only suspect at this time that they believe is connected to all of the killings. Brittany.
All right,
Yes.
Michelle, thank you so much. We want you to take a look here at this video on your screen. Stockton police released this nearly 2 weeks ago, saying this was a person of interest in their investigation. Now, we have shown you this video here on air, online, and on social media many times. After today's press conference, Stockton police confirmed with KCRA 3 they believe the man in this surveillance video is Brownlee, the man they arrested today. Attorney General Rob Bonta is speaking out about this arrest as well. In a statement, the Attorney General said in part, quote, "Because of our collaborative work, the citizens of Stockton and California communities can feel comfort in knowing that the suspect is now in custody."
Yeah, get him off the street. I am so happy. But guys, they think that this guy may be connected to a 2018 shooting. Oh, never mind. Never mind. We already talked about those and we found out those weren't connected. Never mind. I'm not going to even waste my time on that one. Anyway, guys, I'm so happy that this guy was arrested. I feel happy for those people that live in Stockton who were terrified of this man. And they can sleep at night in peace to know he is gone. I hope there's not going to be any copycats, though. You know how these crimes are. There's always some random person out there that thinks he can be a copycat. But, oh, you know, a couple years down the line, we might see this guy on a Netflix series like Jeffrey Dahmer. You know how they always like to publicize these serial killers. Hi, Kenya. How are you, sweetie? You did? You just heard about this? Yeah, Kenya, it's crazy. California is having some crazy stuff going on. But I'm glad he was caught. So sad how America treats our homeless. I know, pen and pencil is so sad. These people don't deserve that. And hi, God's favor. Shout out to you, sweetie. I hope you're doing well and you're blessed. But I am just so happy, guys. We could sleep at night knowing that those people in Stockton are safe. And yes, we will follow this story, though, to figure out what happens to this guy. I'm really curious, though. They said he has a criminal record. I want to know what's in this guy's criminal history. What kind of crimes he has, because clearly that'll help us see a pattern with this guy and what he's all about. All right, I love you guys so much. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend. Be safe out there. Take care.